get to the last part of this paper and your prep so that you guys are ready for your exam. So let me just get to the pieces that we still need to do. And again, I will share the recording and then this presentation afterwards, and I will also just share the last summary pack with tables and formulas and those kind of things in it as well, so that you have that pack as well. Okay, so the last few questions. So again, we're getting some repeats to the previous work that we worked out during the week. Let me just see what is happening now. Cool. So this question, again, if we just read through it, an insurance company agrees to indefinitely pay. So that is, when we look at that, it will be annuity that is a perpetuity. So it goes to infinity, pays 6,825 per month due to an injury obtained in a taxi accident. If money is worth 12.6% per year, compounded monthly, what amount of money must the company have available to fund the injuries to Juju? Okay, so remember, again, we look at the total investment that we need to work out. We know they told us what the monthly repayment is or payout is. They give us the interest rate. And then we must just make sure again that we use that interest rate correctly, so that it is a monthly interest rate. So we must divide by 12. So it will be 0.126 divided by 12. So let me just get the bottom number correct and sort it out. 0.0105. So when we say 6,825 divided by that, we will get a total of 650,000. So, let me just rewrite that. $650,000. Again, if we didn't say divide by 12, we just said 6,825 divided by 0.126. Luckily, there wasn't an answer because that would have been 54,000. So luckily, there wouldn't have been an answer if we just said divided by 0.126. And so the answer we're looking for is 650,000. It is your repayment divided by that monthly interest rate. Okay, the next one is, again, where they tell us there's a begin. So we will use the begin function. So at the beginning, let's just read, a loan will be paid back in payments of 25,000. So there will be a PMT of 25,000. Every second month for 6 years. So every second month, so it is 6 times per year. For 6 years. So that will be 36 periods. And let's see, there's the interest rate compounded every 2 months. So we've got our interest rate of 7.5. And then what is the present value? Okay, so on your calculators, remember to change it to begin. Then PMT is minus 25,000, 6 times a year for 6 years. So that gives us a total of 36 periods, 7.5 interest. I normally will just make my future value 0 so that any previous questions is not stored in there. And then my present value is 750,196.46. And that is option B. Okay. If we did not change it to begin and we just use it as normal, my answer would have been 721,181. So there would have been an option for you if you did not select the begin function before we started working on this sum. So again, they must tell you when to use the begin function, else we assume everything is at the end of a month or end of a period. So they need to tell you when to switch to begin. Then just again be careful when we move over to the next question, if it might be related to a compound interest or anything like that, that we don't make the mistake that we still use that begin, so that we, after we used the begin, just change it, that it is taken away and that it then focuses on end values again. Okay, so the next question is Mrs. Naidu deposits 15,000 into a savings account. How much will she have in the bank after 3 years if interest is compounded monthly at 8% per year? Okay, so this is not a difficult question. So I will use the calculator again. So we've got 15,000 as your present value. We've got 0 payments. Remember, it is monthly, so it is 12 times a year for 3 years. So again, it will be 36 periods, 8% interest per year. So the future value is 19,053.56. Okay. You could also have used the formula, so that you could have done as well. So again, doesn't matter which one you used, you could have gotten both answers. I'm just checking if we maybe, it's interesting that, okay, cool. So then the next question, so let's see what the next question is. So now we go to I think the loans one again, I think again a repeat of something that we did yesterday and the previous day. So where they tell us the loan amount, they tell us what the monthly cost is or the monthly installment. They tell us what inflation is, and then we need to work out the real cost. So again, just for that real cost, we will work out that the real cost of the loan is basically your total value, and that is with the installments that we pay minus the home loan original amount that we secured. Okay, so that will give us our total real cost that we will need to work out. So again, we'll use the calculator. So the things that I will put into the calculator is my PMT will be minus 9680.70. I will work with the inflation rate of 9.2%. Then I think the previous one we had 12 times per year. So maybe not needed to add it again, but just to make sure that it is there for 20 years. So that will be about 240 periods. And then we will need to work out the present value. And that present value we will use to put in your total value. So 9680.7, that is my payments made per term. It is for 12 times a year for 20 years. So in total, 240 payments. Inflation was at 9.2%. So my present value that I get is 1060749.01. And we can take that away, so 749. So again, if we just worked out the present value, there is an option for us, but remember we need to subtract what that loan amount was to get to the real cost, and that is 277,409. So 1060749 minus the 790,000 will give us the 277,409, which is option E. So again, one must just be careful that you don't go the step of just stopping at the present value, because you can do that because it's easy to see an answer for you. But then we need to go a step further and then subtract the 79 or 790,000 just to get to a final answer. Okay. But yeah, this is a repeat of a very similar question we did yesterday as well. Okay, so then another one that was a repeat. So this was really a lot in this summary pack nearly. So we're going to need to work out, and here we need to work out the continuous compounding rate. They tell us what is the present value. They tell us what is the future value. They tell us the period. So if we go back to that formula of the time is equal to S over P, and that will be divided, sorry, not time, interest rate. This one, it's yearly. Some of the other ones was quarterly or monthly. So when it's yearly, it is just divided by 4. Let's just check then what is, so got it accumulated to 48,199 Rand 50. So that is your future value. Your present value was 35,000. Then it is log or ln of those two divided by one another. So it will basically be ln or log of 1.3771 divided by 4. Okay, so I get 0.08, which again, if we make it to percentage, is 8%, which is option D. Okay, so again, nearly a repeat of one of the questions we did yesterday, to work out the continuous compounding rate when they give you a present value, a future value, and a time. This one, they gave us the time in years. Remember, some of the others, they gave us the time in months or quarters or those kind of things. So then we just need to make sure that when we get something like that, we also use the right time period. Okay, and then the last two, I think, is on timelines, data. So basically looking at this set of data, and that now is a question that I don't know if I have asked it before, but are you guys allowed to use Excel in your exams or only calculators? Because I quickly want to. Okay, cool. Then what I am going to do is going to show you how to do it in Excel. Then I will also share the spreadsheet with you. And then you can use the spreadsheet in the exam. I just quickly want to put the data in. Okay, so while I'm putting the data in, then I will share on the screen. Okay, so I just want to quickly make sure that I've got the right data. So X, Y, 0, 96, 185, 2, 83, 3 or 82, 374, 395, 568, 576, 584, 658, then 765, 775, and 1050. Okay, so the data is correct. Let's just look at what they want us to look at first. So they want us to say, okay, the correlation coefficient between the two variables in the data set was calculated, and the conclusion would be what? Okay, so let's work it out, and then we can look at those options. Okay, so I want us to work out R, and that is just correlation. So there is a correlation coefficient that we can work out. Just wait, I'll be quickly, just give me a minute. Okay, and then, so your first array was from the X's. The second one, we put in the Y's. And then the answer is minus 0.8313. Okay, so let's look at what they give us. So the variables are negatively correlated. Okay, yes, it is negatively correlated because of the minus 0.83. Let's just see if there's anything else. The variables are positively correlated. No, it's not. There's not enough information to make a decision. No, that is also not correct. The more time you spend at the mall, the higher your test score. Okay, so that is actually then the opposite because of a negative. So the more time you spend at the mall, the lower your test score. And then the variables are uncorrelated, also not true. For it to be uncorrelated, which it should be 0. That's the only time when it will be uncorrelated is when there's no correlation, and that means your correlation coefficient will be 0. Okay, so with this one, we needed to work out the correlation coefficient, which we now did. They could have also asked us to work out the R square, which is your coefficient of determination. So what I'm just going to add for you guys is that answer as well. Just that if you need to look at it in the exam, you have that as well. Just remember your coefficient of determination will always be positive. So it will always be positive, because if it's negative r and you will have a r times r, it will become positive. If r was positive, then it will just stay positive. Okay, so just important, your r square will always be positive. Okay, then what they have given us is, and let me just quickly go to the next question, is the same set of data. We must then work out what the regression line is. Okay, so remember, the regression line is mx plus c. Let's just want to change that so that it at least looks like a plus and not like a multiplication. Okay, mx plus c. So again, from that same data, what I'm going to work out is we're going to work out a slope. And we're going to see if we can get a y cutoff. So that will normally be one of the others, but let's just first see if we can get the slope. So there is the slope function. And now important with a slope is it wants the y values first. Don't know why, but that is how Excel was set up. And the x values second. So when you do this on your calculator, it's normally x first, y second. And you will nearly put all of those values into your calculator. In Excel, it is different. So in Excel, we have that you need to put in your y values first and then your x values second. Okay, so already we know that the slope is minus, and let's, I think the answers was 1, okay, to 0 decimal. So the slope then is -4. So let's just look at possible options for your answer. So there's a -4. Okay, 94, so it's not 1. Okay, there's just 1, so it's not that one. -1, again, not that one. Minus x, not that one. Okay, so we have that your y is equal to -4x plus 94 will be what will be your answer. So just by working out the slope and by having that information in your Excel, we could have already worked it out. Then we can also work out your y cutoff. So I just want to see what that will be, because that you normally need to, it doesn't have a function, because what you need to do is to say, replace one of those points back into your formula. So you would need to say y is equal to the m times, so let's say it's that one, Okay, so it's interesting that that didn't work out. I just want to check why not. Ah, okay, because I did it wrong. Okay, so if we want to get, and let me write it rather on the, okay, so if we want to get your C value, we will use one of those points. So let's use this point. I'm still going to look for the formula, see if we can calculate it in Excel as well. But we've got the y is 82 and x 2. So your y is 82. Your x is 2. Remember, our slope was again, just want to quickly make sure I'm using the right numbers. And so this again is not giving us what we're looking for, because that will give us C is equal to 90, and we look to get to 94. Okay, so let's quickly get, I just want to Google, because there is always an answer on Google. I don't use Excel that frequently for working out your Y cutoff. So let's quickly unless any one of you maybe have the answer to how we need to work out the Y. So it's also, you see, if I give something, okay, they want me to use the data analysis toolpath. There should be an easy way as well. Let's quickly check. I know there must be easier ones, so I will get you guys the other one. So let's just quickly check with a regression. Okay, let's just check this output. I just want to see what is in here. As you say, even the multiple, that one was not seen as positive. Just did standard error observations. Okay, so again, we're not getting any information. Okay, there's the intercept, which is the 94. Okay, but that you should not need to too that difficult. So let me see what else can we do to get that information for you. What did you guys do in your... Okay, so let's just check. It is also intercept. So let's old thumbs. That's something intercept. Intercept wise. Intercept for x's. So again, y's first, x's second. Cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep it to 3 decimals just so that when you guys use it again, they normally go up until 3 decimals. They very seldom, or 3 or 4 decimals, they very seldom round it off to the full numbers. Okay, so when you guys now need to use this, you can just replace the x and y's, and then your answers will also change. So let me show you. So let's say that has changed and that has changed. You can automatically see your r square, slope, and your intercept have changed. Okay, so you can use this when as nearly example for the rest of your exams as well. So let me also correlation coefficient. Coefficient determination. And yeah, that's your slope, your M, or in some of the instances, for the guys that also uses a calculator to check, that might also be referenced as B. And then your y-intercept sometimes is also referenced as A. So when you look in your study guide, it can be that they sometimes reference it as A. The slope is referenced as B or M, and then R square, coefficient of determination, if they ask it, and then R is your correlation coefficient. Okay, so that is nearly the question set that I wanted to work through tonight. So is there other questions? Do you feel you will be prepared for Wednesday? Did these sessions at least help you guys as well, that you will be a bit better prepared than before? So what I will do is I will share the Excel with you. I will also share this presentation with you, the recording, and then also let me just take this out because that was wrong. And then also the tables with all the formulas. Oh, yeah, the increasing annuity is a problem in Excel. So let me, it can do all the others because you've got the PMT one and you've got your present value, but it does not allow for increasing annuity as a function. Not that I could pick up yet. It covers all the rest. So if you look at, let me type in the PMT one, and you will see it covers your N, so that is number of payments, so that is the N that it covers. It covers your present value, it covers your future value. In here also it covers that you can do the begin or the end of a month or period. So it does then also cater for your begin versus end. But the thing that it does, I haven't picked up that it can do your increasing annuity, not in the simple functions. The other thing also that one just needs to remember is that with the rate, your calculator, you can, if it's 7.5% interest, calculated monthly, because in your calculator you say times per year, it's 12 times per year. So the calculator automatically takes that into account, but you need to say in the rate on your Excel that you need to divide by 12. Okay, so that's the one thing from the calculator versus Excel. One must just make 100% sure when you look to work out any of the, so if it is PMT, present value or future value, just make 100% sure that, and I can show you even if we put, see what it also does is, so if you look at some of the principal values and the schedule that goes with it, it can work out some of those amortization stuff as well. But let me quickly just show you in your present and future values. So in your, again, so when we looked at payments or PMT, it had your present value and future value. If we look at future value, again, it will give you the others that's needed. But again, that rate, so if the interest rate per period, for example, use 6% divided by 4 for quarterly. So they actually give you that tip. So if it is 6% per year, you will just say 6%, or sorry, per month, you will say 6% divided by 12. Okay, so just make sure that you use that rate function correctly, but the other then follows on it. But unfortunately, I have not seen the increasing annuities. Let's just why not do this? You see, so that's the basic one. Yeah, so it only caters for the basic one. Well, maybe later on it will come out. Yes, you can use the yield function, definitely. Um, so yeah, so definitely you can use the yield function. So and that is why if you use Excel a lot, then it is easy to use Excel in the exams. If you haven't used Excel, use your calculator, please. Don't try now to use Excel, because there is certain small snags and catches in it, like if you look at just what we've now done with slope and intercept. So just again, just need to make it very clear, because I don't want you guys to make a mistake on this. So when we use calculator to put in the data, we always put in X and Y. So always X first, Y second. In Excel, when we read it into the formulas, they want us to read the Y's in first and your X's in second. Um, so again, just that one point, need to make that very clear, because if you swap it around for slope and intercept, you will get different answers. Where again, in your HP or your Casio or Sharp, how we normally put in the data is X, Y, for the first one, then XY for the second one, and continue like that. So just be careful, when you work in Excel, that there it asks you to do the Y's first and then the X's. Okay, other questions that you guys might have? Okay, let's quickly see if I haven't used that so much. So let's just quickly check. Okay, so let's see if I can. Okay, I must still learn how to make this bigger so that we can see. Okay, so the settlement amount, the security settled date expressed as a serial date number. Okay, that's fine. The maturity date, the rate. I just want to see. Let's quickly think. Let's quickly get. Let's. Okay, but now, yo, see, the only problem is, so with this, okay, let's use that information, but we're actually not, because this we want to work out accrued interest, so it's nearly, where do we have question like that? So I'm going to take this, but obviously it's not, let's just put some of it in and see what we get. see how you can use it. So let's say we need to put in a set is a security setting. So let's check if we can say 29. I'm just going to type it in. We can always change it. It doesn't pick it up. The maturity date. Seven. Okay, so that, and you can tell me if I interpret it right. That will be your, and this is yield to maturity. And now the problem is, because what we see, there's a few things that I don't know now. Let's just put in a value. I see, so your yield to, because I will always put in 1,800 in there, so that's how I just, as for base, so I will always use nearly the redemption value of 1,000 as a face value to see the percentage. But now, obviously, if your question is something like this, where we need to work out accrued interest, then I really don't know how to go back or only work that portion out. So maybe play around with it. You can always on the group send a WhatsApp, and I can look at it if you have an example nearly that one can look at, but also an example that we have or answer nearly that we can just check if we can get to that. But please, if you have an example that you want to test later as you work through stuff still, please send it. And then I can see if I can assist you in helping that we solve it. Because that will be a nice one to be able to do with Excel. So for now, I'm not going to put any name to that one, but we can try to do that if any of you guys send me later on WhatsApp just an example, and we can play around with it. Okay. Any other questions? So yeah, so I think because let's be honest, questions on yields and bonds and those things are, if one can get a simpler or simplification to solve that, it will be great. I never even thought about using Excel for that, so it will be a nice challenge to see if one can use it. The difficulty is just in some of the things where they ask just a bit of a question and not everything. But why not? Let's see if there is anything, and then I'll try tonight or tomorrow if anyone has a question like that. So please share a question with me later on, and let's see if I can figure it out for you guys, because that will also, I think, will definitely assist. And if we don't get it right this time, hopefully I will, for next year, I get my students an answer that will help them. Okay. Anything else, guys? Are you ready for Wednesday? Still one or two things that you want to sort out. But yeah, so there's no other questions. Okay, cool. Anything else we can end it for tonight? Then I'll just share all the workings, so that I will definitely share with you the Excel. Again, the presentation I will share, and then the recording as well. Okay, then it is good luck for your exam. But please still use tomorrow if there's things that you need to sort out. Please use the group. I will also be on the group still tomorrow. If there's questions that pops in, I will assist you guys still. Okay. Okay, that's really great to hear. Thanks for that feedback. Cool. Thanks everyone. Good luck with your exams. And we'll, after the exam, we can chat also to find out how it was. Okay. Have a good evening.